So on May 7th, 2024, I released my first big Minecraft mod made using mCreator, that being titled Toucann's Insane Fun Pack. And while I was happy with the contents in the mod at the time, I can look back at it now and safely say that it wasn't great. I made a 15-second video saying that it was available and provided zero information on the mod besides the contents within the zip folder. And not only that, but I didn't upload it to a mod hosting website, so I didn't get many downloads. But now, with a second version of the mod being released, I decided to fix those mistakes. So allow me to explain every nook and cranny of this mod in the form of a progression timeline. Also, a quick disclaimer, I was using BSL shaders for all the footage shown in this video, and as you'll soon see later on, some of the content doesn't quite work right with these shaders applied. And whilst I'm not sure if the mod looks as it should with other shaders, just keep this in mind as you watch. The focal point of this mod lies within a new dimension, the Delta Dystopia. I figured that at least one person would want to challenge themselves to start here and try to escape, similar to the Nether. Thus, I made sure that this was possible. You can find a new type of wood, that being skulk wood, which can be crafted into planks, sticks, weapons and tools, and a few other items. However, it's more limited than other types of wood, as not everything that uses wood can be crafted with skulk wood. Using this wood, you could equip yourself with the essentials and begin your journey to escaping the Delta Dystopia. The main resource you'll be relying on, aside from the ores that generate in this dimension, is, well, something I'll come back to later. Whether you chose to start in the Delta Dystopia or
the overworld,
your quest begins just like any other survival world. Gather resources, craft all sorts of things, etc. You should keep an eye out for a few resources in your journey to defeat the Ender Dragon, those being a Heart of the Sea, Prismarine Crystals, Nautilus Shells, Skulk Blocks, a Skulk Shrieker and Skulk Veins via Silk Touch, Soul Sand, Soul Torches, Blaze Rods, Blaze Powder, Endstone, Obsidian, Crying Obsidian, Netherite Ingots, and Ender Pearl for Eyes of Ender. These resources will be useful later down the line, so be sure to keep them handy. During your time in the world, you'll see plenty of ring monitors. Defeating one, because they only have half a heart, will give you 10 rings and drop 1 iron ingot, because, you know, it's made of metal, probably. As long as you have 1 ring in your inventory, you'll avoid taking damage. However, if you have more than 20 rings, you'll only lose 20. The lost rings don't drop upon being hit, mainly since I haven't tried calculating how many rings the game should spawn upon losing rings below 20, but given that there are plenty of ring monitors around at all times in every dimension, this shouldn't be a problem. In addition, you can craft a ring with 4 gold ingots, and craft a ring into 4 gold ingots. Now, either before or after you've defeated the Ender Dragon, you'll want to make sure that you obtain the Dragon Egg, as this will be a requirement for getting to the Delta Dystopia. You'll now want to craft the main new weapon from this mod, the Zeta Hammer. The Zeta Hammer requires crafting all 4 pieces individually, and then crafting said pieces together to construct it. You can craft the pieces in any order, but I'll first explain the Zeta Handle, which is crafted using 4 coal pieces, a stick, and 4 Nautilus Powder, which can be obtained by smelting Nautilus shells. In addition, you can put Prismarine Crystals and Prismarine Shards into a smithing table to create a Heart of the Sea. Next, the Zeta Hilt can be crafted using 3 Heart of the Seas and 3 Skulk Veins. The Zeta Crux is crafted using 4 Skulk Veins and 1 Heart of the Sea. Finally, the Zeta Disruptor is crafted using 2 Skulk Blocks and 7 Heart of the Seas. Now, crafting all 4 pieces together grants you the Zeta Hammer. While holding it, the Zeta Hammer gives you unlimited water breathing while holding it in your main hand or offhand. It also won't take durability damage when used, although sometimes it may glitch and take some durability damage, which should be fixed when it's in your inventory. In addition, holding Sneak whilst holding the Zeta Hammer will prevent all fall damage, and falling at a fast enough speed will allow you to deal insanely powerful hits. Think the Market Gardener from Team Fortress 2, but amplified like crazy. Once you've crafted the Zeta Hammer, you'll want to hold it, either in your main hand or offhand, and stand on the Dragon Egg. This will destroy it and you'll get 64 Dragon Egg shards. Now do not fret, There is a way to get more dragon eggs aside from other mods, which I'll discuss later. You can now use these dragon egg shards to craft various things. Now that you've got the Zeta hammer and dragon egg shards, you'll want to craft the portal igniter, which requires 1 dragon egg shard, 1 blaze rod, and 1 skulk vein. You'll also need to bring a few items with you, those being at least 1 cookie, at least 5 ritual blocks, 1 mirror of facades, 1 flint and steel, 1 skulk block, 1 skulk shrieker, 1 soul sand, and 1 flanger fumo. The ritual block requires 2 blaze powder, 1 redstone dust, 2 skulk veins, 1 magma block, 2 soul torches, and 1 heart of the sea. Ritual blocks slow you down when walked on. The mirror of facades requires 1 eye of ender, 1 blaze powder, 1 skulk vein, 1 light blue stained glass pane, and 1 nether star. So be sure to defeat the wither and obtain the nether star it drops. The mirror of facades has a toggleable invisibility potion effect. Right click to turn it on and left click to turn it off. The flanger fumo requires 1 of pink, yellow, white, black and red wool blocks, as well as 1 redstone dust, 1 wing base and 1 crystal chain. Now you're probably wondering how to craft a wing base and a crystal chain, so listen closely since you might want to do this 2 more times later on. First and easiest, you can craft 1 wing base using 3 dragon egg shards. Next, you'll want to craft 2 cyan crystals and then 1 of blue, purple, pink, orange, yellow and green crystals. The recipe for each crystal is the same, requiring 1 glass pane, 1 eye of ender, 1 blaze powder and 1 large amethyst bud. But here's where the recipe differs. You'll want cyan, blue, purple, pink, orange, yellow and lime dyes for the respective coloured crystal, with lime dye making a green crystal. Once you've crafted those 8 crystals, craft them together to make 1 crystal chain, and now you can craft the flanger fumo. What is she used for? You'll find out later. Now that you know how to craft wing bases and crystal chains, if you want to have a better fighting chance in the Delta Dystopia, then you should consider crafting this next item, Flanger Scarlet's wings. However, this is optional. Craft 2 crystal chains and 2 wing bases, put a crystal chain and a wing base together to make 1 flanger wing, and once you have 2 flanger wings, craft them together to make Flanger Scarlet's wings, which act as an armor chest piece. While equipped, the wings provide you with creative mode flight and infinite fire resistance, but be careful in the overworld. Standing in direct sunlight while wearing the wings will cause you to take damage. This can be avoided, but I'll discuss that later. Flanger Scarlet's wings also have infinite durability like the Zeta hammer, and provide the maximum amount of protection that was possible in M Creator. You can also craft a rainbow disc using 4 pieces of redstone dust, 4 pieces of coal and 1 crystal chain. Putting it in a jukebox will play a Minecraft note block rendition of Last Brutal Sister Flanger S by Cool and Create, also known as Beat Mario, remixed by yours truly. Now that you have everything you need to face off against the Delta Dystopia, you'll want to find an ancient city if you haven't already. After reaching it, make your way to the giant portal-like structure in the centre of the city, and once you've cleared out the skulk veins on the inside of the reinforced deep slate, right-click on one of them with the Delta Dystopia portal igniter, and, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. Be sure to set your spawn point with a bed just near the portal and head in. Your next course of action will be dealing with the facade forms that spawn here. You need to activate their transformations into their true forms, well, one of them, in order to obtain 8 differently coloured Nexus Dianites. Keep in mind that I got permission to use the likeness of the users related to each facade form, aside from Flanger of course, since she's a fictional character, all the way back when I was creating version 1 of the mod, and all of them are aware of said form's existence. Some of them even helped me create the idea for the methods to activate their true forms. Firstly, Facade Amaya, based on a character made by my friend Mew. That's MYU. She will run away from you unless you're holding a cookie. Feeding her the cookie will cause her to transform into her true form, which can fly. Killing her true form drops the white Nexus Dianite. Next is Facade Devi, based on, well, Devi, otherwise known as Devi Jolt or Not So Devi, or even Not So Devi Jolt. He has a 15% chance to activate his true form upon taking damage from any source. He drops the green Nexus Dionite. Facade Flandra will relentlessly chase you if she spots you within a 25 block radius. The only way to stop her from moving is if you hold the Flandra Fumu in your main hand or offhand. To defeat Facade Flandra, get her to stand on a ritual block and left click on her while holding the Flandra Fumu. She will spawn the red Nexus Dionite. In addition, Facade Flandra can sense if a player has Sun Immunity Potion in their hand, and she will not only steal it, but immediately use it. This can be deadly if you found yourself being chased by her into the overworld. However, if she does not have Sun Immunity, she will take Sun damage in the overworld. Using a glass bottle and a red Nexus Dionite in a smithing table gives you a vampiric potion bottle, and brewing those with Nautilus powder grants you potions of Sun Immunity. However, due to the way M Creator works, I wasn't able to make it a traditional potion. In order to get Sun Immunity, left click whilst holding the Sun Immunity potion. One bottle grants 10 minutes of Sun Immunity, which prevents you from taking damage in the sunlight whilst wearing Flandra Scarlet's wings. Next, Facade Luigi Kid, based on Luigi Kid Gaming, will activate his true form upon taking damage from any source. He drops the gold Nexus Dionite. Now, remember when I mentioned that if you start in the Delta Dystopia, you'll be relying on a main resource? That resource is in the form of Facade Mr. Pixel, based on, well, Mr. Pixel Productions. He is able to be traded with by right-clicking on him with specific items in your main hand. And the list of tradables goes as follows: 1 coal for 1 bread, 1 cut copper block for 1 book, 1 copper block for 1 skulk vein leaves, 1 iron block for 1 gold ingot, 1 gold block for 1 blaze rod, 1 diamond block for 1 dragon egg shard, 1 netherite ingot for 1 reinforced deep slate, 1 enchantment table for 1 netherite scrap, 1 lapis lazuli block for 1 obsidian, and 5 netherite blocks for 1 dragon egg. Keep in mind that most of these trades were changed or added from version 1 in order to make it possible to escape the Delta Dystopia if you start there. Using a skulk vein leaves and a stick within a smithing table gives you 1 skulk vein. Being attacked by Facade Mr. Pixel will activate his true form. Attack him to aggravate him. His true form drops the purple Nexus Dionite. Facade Tucann, based on me, and Facade Cool Tim, based on my friend Cool Tim YT, both only activate their true forms when hit with the Mirror of Facades. Being defeated regularly will cause them to explode. Their true forms drop the blue and pink Nexus Dionites respectively. Facade Yui, based on my friend Gold Miller, will wander around minding his own business until attacked, where he'll fight back. Igniting him with the flint and steel will activate his true form, which drops the orange Nexus Dionite. Facade Yui's true form will fly and spawn active TNT in your location. Finally, Facade Blair, based on my own character Blair Farson from Miles.eps, is a mini-boss facade form and can be spawned by placing down soul sand on top of deep slate, followed by a skulk block on top and a skulk shrieker on top of that. They shoot various projectiles and drop the final item you'll need before the end goal, the Nexus Dionite Core. Once you've obtained all 8 Nexus Dionites and the core, you can craft them into the Nexus Dionite Tarragon block. Once you've crafted the Nexus Dionite Tarragon block, you now have access to an optional side quest, obtaining a super form. To do this, collect 50 rings, sneak and left click on any block. If there is air 25 blocks above you, a warp ring will spawn. Get up to it and right click it in order to make it drop a miniature warp ring. Why is this the case? Because originally I was going to make it so that right clicking on the warp ring would teleport you to the special stage dimension, but it was rather glitchy and most of the time you would get stuck in a wall. So I changed the teleporting method. Once you have this, you can use gold blocks to make a portal to a new dimension for version 2 of this mod, the Special Stage Dimension. Use the miniature warp ring to ignite the portal and head on through. The special stage dimension plays a Minecraft note block rendition of Sonic 3 and Knuckles' special stage music. I wanted it to constantly play instead of randomly, so I had to make it an ambient sound, meaning that the volume of it is controlled by the ambient slider instead of the music slider. My apologies for any inconvenience that causes. Now, your goal here is to hunt down 7 pieces of Chaos Ore. It's a stone block with the colours of each Chaos Emerald on it, and now that I look back at the texture whilst typing the script, getting each variation of the ore texture and layering them together wasn't the smartest idea, but fuck it, we ball. Right-clicking the ore with the miniature warp ring in your inventory will drop the red Chaos Emerald. Keep it in your inventory and repeat for the yellow, pink, green, dark blue and light blue Chaos Emeralds, with the white Chaos Emerald being the last. Right-clicking the Chaos Ore with all 7 emeralds will simply remove the ore entirely without doing anything else. But if you for some reason like the appearance of it, don't do this, as it will be obtainable as a block later. Once you have all 7 emeralds, you'll want to create the following structure. Just copy how I build it here and you should be fine. After you've built the structure, stand on the crying obsidian in the center and right click on it. You need to be level 100 as well. If you set up the structure correctly, then an effect-only bolt of lightning will strike where you stand and you will get the Chaos Unification advancement. This means you now have access to your super form. The super form makes you immune to all damage, and yes, even including the void and beyond the world border. It also grants you creative mode flight, all at the cost of 1 ring per second, and just like in most Sonic games. You can configure the hotkeys in the options menu, but by default, press Z to activate your super form and X to deactivate it. You need at least 50 rings to transform, and your super form will run out if you run out of rings. After crafting the Nexus Dionite Tarragon block, you'll need to create a structure to summon the final boss of this mod, the Nexus Desolator. You will need 4 ritual blocks, 4 skulk blocks, 4 endstone, a crying obsidian, and a netherite block. Follow the way that I'm building it, the structure on screen, and if you created it correctly, right-clicking the Nexus Dionite Tarragon block will summon the Nexus Desolator. The Nexus Desolator will fly around and shoot various projectiles at you, and when its health reaches 50%, it'll spawn a Warden, which could be both a blessing and a curse, as the Warden can attack the Nexus Desolator if in range, but it can also still attack you. However, do not try to kill the Warden, as the Nexus Desolator will immediately spawn another one. As long as a Warden is within a 64 block radius, the Nexus Desolator won't spawn another one. Try to keep the Warden at a decent distance away while attacking the Nexus Desolator. This is where Flydra Scarlet's wings will come in handy, but they're not required. Upon defeating the Nexus Desolator, it will drop its soul, and upon picking it up, the storyline of the mod will officially conclude, provided you choose not to get the Flydra Scarlet's wings or unlock the super form. The Nexus Desolator's soul will grant you jump boost, speed, haste, and slow falling all at level 9 as long as it's in your inventory. However, the slow falling will only apply if you're sneaking. And with that, that's everything that the mod has to offer. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I hope that I've convinced you to give the mod a try. The link to download it will be on ModRinth, which is in the description. But with all of that said and done, I'll leave it there. Peace.